Hello Amit, how are you?
And you're doing well, thank you.
So Amit, as PolyCycl specializes in converting hard to recycle waste plastics into valuable form petrochemical feedstocks, how do you envision scaling this technology to address the global plastic waste crisis, and what partnerships are essential to achieving this vision?
So, so as you said, work at PolyCycl actually has been to take the landfill-derived plastics, the kind of plastics which are otherwise hard to recycle or are largely considered to be non-recyclable. And the technology that we have developed over the years, we liquefy those plastics. So we convert them into hydrocarbon oils, which you can think is a little like a mix of um things like diesel and naphtha. So they are liquid hydrocarbons. And these liquid hydrocarbons then can go back to the oil and gas industry or the the petrochemical industry, which are the industries that had first manufactured these plastics and polymers. And they can use these liquid feedstocks to actually go and make new virgin quality, food grade quality plastics. So in some ways it is taking landfill derived materials which was otherwise hard to recycle and going back into the circular economy with the ability to make new virgin plastics from it. Now, to scale these technologies, this is a sector that is coming to a tipping point, not only in India but in other parts of the world also. And essentially, the partners that are coming together, as we are seeing on the field, to put implementations on the ground, in addition to technology development companies like ourselves, are companies in the waste management industry, which actually have access or receive a lot of these uh, waste streams, including from post-consumer or municipal waste streams, and as part of which plastics are there, which are then segregated out and can be brought to the technology. The other stakeholders or participants in terms of scaling and development of these projects are also the petrochemical companies, companies like, let's say, Reliance in India, but you have like Lyondell Basel and you have BASF and Shell, these kind of SABIC and these kind of companies globally, who will take these liquefied plastics as feedstocks and bring them into their pre-existing infrastructure and convert them back into circular polymers. So it's multiple stakeholders all coming together.
As a stakeholder in the circular economy space, what strategies does PolyCycl employ to ensure the economic viability of recycling low-grade plastics, and how do you balance environmental impact with business sustainability?
Yes, so the economics on the conversion are actually very positive. So in fact, that's one good thing that the sector has going for itself. And so when these plants are put on the ground, they essentially are taking landfill derived or very low grade waste plastics, which otherwise don't have an economic value, and they are being converted into these circular feedstocks or very high economic value hydrocarbon products which go into the petrochemical industry. So at one end you have low economic value waste which is segregated for taking out the plastics, and at the other end you have these very high value what are called circular or renewable feedstocks which are being globally sought out at this point of time. So from just the economic standpoint, the technology and the spaces finds itself in a very positive territory. So that is what ensures the long-term that it's an opportunity to actually do good in terms of all the planetary effects that you have about taking these non-recyclable plastics and converting them into something useful, but also economically sustainable for both the conversion engine, which will be the implementation plant on the ground, but also the entire supply chain thereof.
Just a last question, Amit. As you have extensive experience and multiple international patents in chemical recycling, what do you identify as the most significant challenge and opportunities in advancing the chemical recycling industry, and how is PolyCycl positioning itself to lead in the sector?
Yeah, so in terms of opportunities, I think I spoke about the sector is in a very good space from the standpoint that the market demand and the market pull for circular polymers is pre-existing, and the production capacities are starting to come online. So it's from that standpoint, it's a good place for the sector to be in. Now, in terms of challenges, I think these are new sectors. The regulatory is still being forged, as to what are the best regulatory mechanisms that need to propel the sector forward. So there are a lot of discussions happening both at New Delhi's level but also globally inside European Parliament bodies and European Commission or equivalent bodies in the US. So I think the regulatory at this point of time is kind of catching up to see as to what the sector really needs to find that proliferation on the ground, to also be able to attack this challenge of low-grade, single-use kind of plastics. Uh, the other challenge is really in terms of also finding more provenness on the ground, right? It's as with any new sector, it has immense potential which needs to be realized as plants are built onto the ground. So that's the stage the sector is in. Many incredibly good companies which have been working in technology development for over a decade actually are ambling online and building first plants in different parts of the world. So the next 2 to 5 years is going to be a very exciting time for all of this to find first implementation, and from there proliferation will happen.
Thank you so much, Amit. Thanks for your time.